Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and it's time once again for another Amazon haul video. This one is kind of close to the holidays here, and I thought I would do some stocking stuffer kind of stuff for you all. Most of this stuff is relatively affordable. I've got links to everything down below in the video description so you can check it all out there. The prices on a lot of these things fluctuate quite frequently, so best to check the links down in the description. Now, I do want to let you know, in the interest of full disclosure, that some of this stuff came in free of charge through the Amazon Vine program. Other things came in through the manufacturer, and I will talk about all of those disclosures as we work our way through the video here. But otherwise, all the opinions you're about to hear are my own. No one is sponsoring this video, nor has anyone reviewed or approved what you're about to see before it was uploaded. So let's get into it now and see what we've got in our latest Amazon haul. All right, the first item I've got here is a very inexpensive monitor from Samsung. This is called the Essential Monitor S3. It's not the best build quality here. It's all plastic, but it is curved. This is the 27-inch variant. There's also a 24. Both of them run at 1080p at 100 hertz, although I'm not sure if it supports AMD FreeSync. The specs on this are very minimal, even on Samsung's website, but I did plug in an AMD-based mini PC here, and it wasn't reporting that FreeSync was enabling anywhere on the display. So I think you are going to get 100 hertz out of this, but not any of the variable refresh rate stuff. One note is that you do need to make sure your computer is set to 100 hertz to get the best quality on this. It's not going to enable by default, so you do have to jump into the Windows settings to do that. But it seems to work pretty well. You definitely want to look at it on center here. This is, I think, the Samsung equivalent of a TN display, so the viewing quality drops off very quickly when you go off to the side. But on the larger one here, the curve definitely helps give you a better image. But this won't rival a more expensive display. I have no idea about what color rating it is at. It doesn't list any of that in the specifications. It does, though, have 250 nits of brightness, so not all that bright. The stand is a bit wobbly, as you can see here. You definitely want to get everything tightened up really well on it when you first set it up. It's not hard to get set up. It does have a little bit of movement here on the tilt axis, so you can move it this way, but you can't tilt it up or down, and if you want to go left or right, you got to move the whole thing here. It doesn't have much for connectivity either. On the back, you've got your HDMI input, a VGA input, and then a USB port for running any firmware updates that they may put on it later, along with the Kensington lock slot. But you do have the option, if you want, to mount it on an arm or something, because they do have a VESA mount hole there, or 4 of them, in the back, so you can mount it up on something. So this is really kind of a stocking stuffer kind of display. If you've got a kid with a game console and you want to get them off your main TV, you can get this for not that much money. It's large enough that you can put it in their room. They can sit a little bit further back, and it all should look pretty good here at 1080p. But note, this has a 4 millisecond response rate, which means you will see some motion blurring when you're playing action games and that sort of thing. So not a gaming monitor, even though it runs at 100 hertz, but for a basic no-frills display to get the kid off your main television, this might be something worth taking a look at. All right, next up, we've got a portable SSD from SK Hynix. Now, you may not have heard of this company before, but they are one of the largest companies in Korea. In fact, I think they're second only to Samsung in size. They make a whole bunch of stuff. In full disclosure, they sent this to the channel free of charge for review. They also sponsored our CES coverage last year, and they're getting into the retail market now with drives like the Beetle here. This is their 2 terabyte version. They also have a 1 terabyte that's available at a pretty reasonable price. Thankfully, the drive does not look like the picture here on the front of the box. It is much more subdued in its look. And this is really nothing exciting. It is just a standard USB 3.1 Gen 2 drive. What I like about it, though, is that it is no frills. It seems to perform pretty well. I'll run a speed test on it in a second. And it comes with a nice set of cables here. So you get a USB-C to USB-C, but you also get a separate cable, which is USB-C to USB-A. And the cable quality feels very nice on this. So you get actually a very decent little drive here without a lot of compromises from a reliable company. This is now one of my go-to brands for solid-state storage. Why don't we plug it in real quick and run a quick speed test. All right, so I plugged this into a mini PC. This is a USB 4 port here in the back. And if we take a look at the Blackmagic disk speed test, you can see what its sequential read and write tests are, at least on this USB controller. We're getting about 900 megabytes per second or so on the writes, and roughly the same, give or take, on the reads. I did find the performance a little better on my Mac as well as my gaming PC upstairs, so a lot of times it's dependent on the USB controller that you have built into your computer. Now, on my gaming PC upstairs, I also ran the Crystal Disk Mark test, and I was very pleased with what it got, not only on the sequential reads and writes, but also on the random reads and writes. It certainly holds its own. This drive will work well for gaming, at least on the PC, along with other tasks like even booting up operating systems. One note with these external USB drives is that if you plug them into an Xbox Series S or X or a PlayStation 5, a lot of the newer games won't boot from USB drives because they need a faster NVMe-based storage device. But for a lot of folks, what they do is they buy one of these and put their older titles, the older Xbox 360 and Xbox One games, for example, on the USB storage, and then the newer titles go on the internal storage. But otherwise, a solid little solid-state drive here from SK Hynix. All right, no holiday haul would be complete without a sketchy handheld game system from China. Here you go. It even comes in its own gift box just for you. This is the How Papa JJ Fun handheld something or other. And we'll open it up here and see what we've got. I'm going in blind here. I have not opened this box yet until I just started recording. So we've got an operating manual here with a whole bunch of different game modes that we can hook it into. Apparently it's got a composite TV out. So there you go, problems and solutions. And a bunch of built-in games, they say. Let's see if it's a bunch of pirated stuff or maybe something more licensed. So we'll go ahead here and open the box up. Everything is very tightly packaged on this one. And we'll take a look at the handheld. It feels as cheap as it looks, but we will not judge until we boot it up and get it operating here. I should also note that it has a compass in the back, and their marketing materials say that this is designed to get kids to go outside and stop playing video games. So there is a compass on the back of your game device here, but I don't think it has any GPS. Now there's a panel here that says open, and that's where it has a removable battery. So you've got a rechargeable battery, or you can put what looks like triple A's in there. So that's pretty neat. We don't see that on modern electronics these days. But why don't we turn it on and see what we get. And there we go. We've got like an NES sounding thing. And there's a bunch of games here that have, I think, probably been renamed from something else. So why don't we take a look at Tennis Animal. Let's see what that looks like. Tennis Animal, hit start. And I'm hearing this looks like the NES tennis game, which has been hacked. So a bunch of NES ROM hacks likely here. Now, I won't bore you by going through the rest of the games on here, but it's pretty much filled up with a bunch of ROM hacks of NES games. So this one, for example, is called Superboy, which is basically a reskinned version of Super Mario Brothers with different music. But it is pretty much Mario Brothers, as you can see from the top here, along with some of the other graphics that they were able to keep existing here. Not great controls, the thing feels really cheap overall, and you can't put your own games on it. So this is definitely one to avoid, but I get this stuff in so you don't have to. Let's take a look at the next item. Now, before we send this piece of junk off to the electronics recycler, I do want to let you know it came in free of charge through the Amazon Vine program. Now, let's do a little gaming cleanser here. This is the Legion Go, and in full disclosure, this came in from Lenovo free of charge a few months ago. I've already reviewed this, so definitely check out my review of it. But the reason why I'm bringing it up today is that it is on sale on Amazon. And the price on this one is actually, I think, less than a comparably equipped Steam Deck OLED. Now, this has a larger display. It is a 1080p display. It's got a built-in kickstand. The controllers here have Hall effect sticks and are removable. And the bottom stick here even has an optical mouse feature, so you can use it for first-person shooter games. And I also like the fact that it's got two USB 4 ports, one on the bottom and one on the top. And because this is running with the more powerful AMD Ryzen Z1 processor, similar to what you'd have in a ROG Ally, it's very good for docking to a television because you can get playable frame rates at 1080p versus 720p on the Steam Deck. It's a little clunky in the hand. I do find the Steam Deck to be lighter and easier to hold, but if you're somebody that likes to dock your handheld, this is actually not a bad mini PC alternative because you can take it with you to play your games or plug it into a television and you can get power going along with other USB 4 and Thunderbolt peripherals too. So a really flexible gaming platform here from Lenovo, and definitely worth checking out at its current price. I'm not sure if it's going to be around next year. It seems like they might be liquidating, but a good device that will have Lenovo support, and it's much better built than the ROG Ally, in my opinion. All right, let's take a look at some phone mounts now. This first one solves a problem that I didn't know we had in society. This is the Magic Mount from Scosche, and what this is a water bottle, which you of course can drink out of, and you can twist the cap off here and put your water or whatever else you're drinking in there. And it's, one of these nice, decent styled modern hydro flasks. But it also has a phone mount here on the top of it. So if you have an iPhone with Magsafe, or you have an Android phone with one of those magnet rings on it, you can put your phone on here and drink your water at the same time. How cool is that? Now, I forgot to mention that this came in free of charge from the manufacturer. Now, this next item came in free of charge through the Amazon Vine program. And this was something that surprised me because I didn't think it was going to be much of anything until I started playing with it on a live stream the other day. This is from Ugreen. It is called their magnetic travel phone holder. And similar to the water bottle we were just looking at, you can attach your phone with MagSafe to it, and they give you a ring in the box for attaching other phones to it. And it's got this really strong grip here, if I can get it oriented to the camera. And what you can do is basically just put that grip against something and have it hold the phone steady. So for example, we can try to grip it here to the side of my desk, which I will do right now. And you really got to work with it because it is super, super strong. And then you've got your phone here mounted, and you can do whatever with it. And if you're on a plane and you've got like a tray table or something, it will mount well to that. You can even kind of slip it in between things because you've got a lot of range here to the clip. And it is super strong. It bounces back and holds really tight. And this is all rubber here. I'll give you a better view of it. So it's got a nice grip on whatever it is attaching to as well. So a pretty handy little phone mount here that I think can have a lot of useful work cases here. And you can also tilt the thing here. I'll give you a look at this way. So you've got a lot of different mounting options here for getting the phone situated exactly where you need it to be. So fun little stocking stuffer here from Ugreen, and it's not all that expensive. Now this next item came in free of charge from Duracell. It looks like a big Duracell battery, but this is a power bank which has two wireless chargers built into it, and one of them can work as a decent phone mount here. So I have it powered up. I can attach my iPhone here to the charging mechanism, and it will start charging through the battery. It'll do 15 watts out of the Qi charger here. They have a second Qi charger on the top, and if I take my Android phone out and pop it in there, once I get it positioned properly, it will start charging that also. Now the top charger here only does 5 watts, so the faster one is the front-facing one. And they also, like the thing we looked at a minute ago, give you a ring and a little measuring tool here for getting everything installed on cases and on Android phones. Additionally, it has a USB-C output here. This will do a maximum of 60 watts out. You can also charge the battery inside of this by plugging it into a USB power source, and then you've got a 12-watt USB-A there. I think it looks pretty cool. It looks like a big Duracell battery. And they also have this neat little docking thing here that will charge the battery without having to plug it into anything. So once you get it on top here, it will start charging. And it's kind of a nice, attractive thing that you can put on the table, pop your phone on it, and then you've got a battery for heading out on the road. The battery capacity is 55 watt hours, so not a huge battery, but certainly a battery size that should be able to charge a couple of times when you are out on the road. And of course, you've got some convenience here with a MagSafe connection to do it. So pretty cool charger here from Duracell. All right, next up we're going to take a look here at the Scosche BaseLynx system, and it starts with just this thing here, which looks like your standard charger you might set up on your nightstand. So we've got my phone charging there. This is a 15-watt Qi charger, and then you've got another 5-watt one down here for plugging in your AirPods and stuff. Nothing exciting, but it's modular. So check it out. I've got this thing, which is an add-on, which gives you an AC outlet along with a USB Type-C port that supports PPS and apparently will give you 67 watts. So we can pop that in like so. And now we've got a much more robust charger with an AC outlet and a USB outlet. But we're not done yet. Have a look at the next thing we're going to plug into it. All right, so let's connect up another module now. This is the Apple Watch module. I'll give you the overhead view so you can see how these things come together. And I'll take my phone off here too so you can see. So as you can see, it's just got like a plug there that plugs into the other end here. So we just connect those two like so. And then I can throw my watch on here. And then I can put my phone back on. And if we switch back here, you can see the watch is charging and the phone is charging. But we've got more that we can connect to it. Check out this one. This is like a multi-charging station for phones or tablets or whatever. And just like the other two here, I can just align it and pop it in. And then if I'm done with my chain here, I can take the cap here and put it on the end. And now I've got a whole family charging station. Now this will do 60 watts total, so it'll share the power between the ports. But if you have one device plugged into one port, you could conceivably get 60 watts out of it, provided the device supports that much power ingest. And then you can do about 67 out of that one. So you have a lot of charging options here with something that's pretty attractive, and you can buy the pieces that you need to make it all work. There is a limit, though, to how much you can attach, because you could conceivably keep going here forever. So what you have to do is look on the bottom or the side of each unit, and they all have a point value. So this one is at 5 points. The watch charger here is at 1 point, and the phone charger is 2 points, and then the power one here is 0. And they say that you should not exceed 15 points in your stack. So you can get a bunch of different modules, just make sure the point value doesn't go beyond 15 before you have to start another row of these things. But pretty cool idea here from Scosche, and in full disclosure, this did come in free of charge from the manufacturer. And I've got one last thing to take a look at. This just came in through the Amazon Vine program, in full disclosure. This is the CC235 20-watt charger from Protoarc. And what I like about this is that it has a retractable power cable that kind of attaches here to the top magnetically, so it kind of folds up pretty nice, but the cable is always here, and it's USB-C. So if you worry about bringing your charging cable with you in addition to your charger, you don't have to worry about it any longer because it's built right in. This retracts kind of like a tape measure does. So you pull it out to where you want it to go, like to here, and then I can just do that and it will retract back in. And it doesn't feel like it's got any real issues with it getting pulled out all the way. It's got a good stopper in there. And it gives about 20 watts of total power. Now it's got another USB-C output on here, but it will split the power budget between the two devices. So the most you're going to get out of this is 20 watts. And I would imagine the retractable cable here does add some size to it. But if you're somebody who's, again, always worrying about forgetting your charging cable, this has it built in, and it will always be with you so long as you don't forget the charger. It's purple, as you can see. They've got different color options available too. Fun little stocking stuffer for people who need another charger, and who doesn't need a couple of extra chargers lying around. So that'll do it for this haul. I have probably more on the way. Every time I get a bunch of stuff in for a video, I run it. So I am always on the lookout for neat little doodads and gadgets like this. So if you happen to see anything, let me know down in the comment section, and we'll try to get it in for a future haul video. We'll see. I might be able to do another one of these before the Christmas holiday, and hopefully we'll be able to pull it off. But I know a lot of you like these haul videos, and hopefully you found something interesting here. I've got the full list of everything down below in the video description, including a one-click destination to Amazon where you can find it all, but we also have individual links in the index too. That'll do it for this one. Until next time, this is Lon.TV. Thanks for watching.